anyway, it is Poet to Poet. I'm Robert Dunn, and we're coming to you from Dolphin Books on Port Washington Boulevard in Port Washington, Long Island, which is one of the last of the great independent bookstores floating around. Speaking of floating around, we have the company mascot here. I forget his name, but I'll tell you one thing, it is not Flipper. Oh well, sorry about that. We do that every once in a while, and thanks to Patricia Vunk, who is the owner and proprietor, for letting us come here and be a public nuisance. But I'm lying here because whenever we got a really good musician, we can't possibly be a public nuisance. So you just sit over there, Raoul Botham, and we'll get a little music in. And now we come to Robert McDonald of Elmont, New York, the garden spot of Long Island. As I recall, he comes from Nassau Community College and Queens College, and studied under Steve Leonard?
Steve Leonard.
Leonard, and Bill Zito. And what did they teach?
They were classical guitarists.
That's a relief. I thought that might have been microbiology or something.
No.
Or even oceanography, considering we're dealing with dolphins here. So, how about a little piece?
Okay. First
a little piece of what, by the way?
The name of the piece is Capriccio Rube, and it's from Tarrega.
Wow.
great.
A very catchy tune. We used to sing it at the summer camp I went to. I can't do the lyrics because it is a family show. But, how long do you have to fiddle with that guitar? Fiddle with that guitar to be that good?
Well, I'm studying, I would say seriously, for about 12 years now. 12 or 13 years. It takes a long time.
12 years. That's about 2 years per string, I understand.
Right, yes. Takes a long time.
How did you develop this love for this non-verbal poetry we have here?
When I first went to Nassau, I decided to study music, and when I went there, I heard one of the teachers play, and as soon as I saw him play, that was it. I was committed right there. So.
Davina, you never tried the guitar, did you?
Not in a very serious way.
All right, let's get a little more serious way here. And how about another composition?
Name of this piece, it's a piece I wrote a couple of years ago. The name of it is The Three.
marvelous. But I'll never forgive myself unless I ask the obvious question. I won't be able to sleep at night. The three what?
It has to do with, I guess it's myself, really. The three that I think of is now, as I am now, and when I was very young, which I perceived as being different and special. And then I guess that period of time in between being very young and now. So that's my answer. That's where it comes from for me.
Well, thank you, Robert McDonald, for a marvelous bit of nonverbal poetry in the form of classical guitar music. People are always telling me that I should get into nonverbal poetry, but I don't play any instruments, and I tell them that, and they say, we don't care. So that gives me kind of a difficulty there. So I'm going to round things out with a poem by a friend of mine. You lucky people, it's not one of mine right now. By Villanelle Mel, and if you've been following this show closely, you'll know that he writes villanelles, which makes it nice. It's called Company Car. The logos keep falling off my new company car, a clear classic case of corporate embarrassment. It belches sparks and smoke like a nickel cigar. The drivetrain is rusty, the paint is all scarred, the maintenance budget's been several times spent. The logos keep falling off my new company car. I should preserve it in alcohol in a mason jar. Who'd have thought a chassis could become so sharply bent? It belches sparks and smoke like a nickel cigar. The boss said, stick with me, kid, and you'll go far. I laughed all the way to the dump, but we all need the vent. The logos keep falling off my new company car. It accelerates just like a shooting star, 0 to 60 in a light year. Move over, Clark Kent. It belches sparks and smokes like a nickel cigar. Don't clutter my pavement, meter maid's hearty har. So what am I supposed to do, cover it with a tent? The logos keep falling off my new company car. It belches sparks and smoke like a nickel cigar. And thanks Vivina Cioli and Robert McDonald for coming on Poet the Poet. And I'm Robert Dunn, and we'll see you next time with more exciting poetry and music and goodies. Bye-bye.